What's up, guys and gals? Mike here from Morrison's Outdoor Adventures, and we are back working on David the landcruiser. So just to kind of lead off, we're going to talk a little bit about the suspension on here, the Ironman Foam Cell Pro. Unfortunately, a lot of our installation footage got corrupted, so you're just going to have to imagine what it looked like in the words that came out of my mouth while we were installing it. So in all actuality, the installation was very smooth. It was very easy as a torsion bar suspension can be to kind of get it adjusted. And we still have some adjustments. We've actually already done our initial pre-run on it just to see how well it worked, and definitely felt the difference. And a good set of shocks on here, good set of springs, everything freshened up. The truck did extremely well, which led into us finding out that we need to redo our diffs, which led us into making a decision to go ahead and re-gear the truck. It's all a snowball traveling downhill, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So let's take a little look at the componentry that we've got underneath. Let's come around here. Let's go around this side. All right, so underneath here, we see our Foam Cell Pro shocks, and they're all bolted in place, ready to go. But one thing we have noticed, and something that we're going to address in the near future, kind of low-hanging fruit, is the bolts here on the bottom. We're getting pretty smashed up. So we're going to look to see what is available as far as kind of like skid options and stuff like that for the bottom, so we're not bashing that as much. New lower control arms, adjustable lower control arms here, give us a little bit more adjustment as far as kind of getting that rear dialed in now that we're lifted a little bit, as well as upper control arms, and they're quite a bit beefier. Okay, so we're getting a lot more out of it as far as strength compared to the little tiny control arms that kind of come from the factory. Ours were bent pretty good, which definitely probably added to some issues on the road, but now we've got something a little bit more beefy, plus we've got the ability to adjust it to dial in that rear. And then we've got our rear springs in here. One thing we noticed, and this is completely on us, is we kind of made a misjudgment call on what rear spring to go with. We went with the heavies, and really we should have gone with one step up from this, just because the amount of gear that we carry. I'm always tend to kind of be oversprung. It definitely wasn't bad, but once we loaded up with all of our gear and stuff and we're guiding trips, we're definitely going to notice that we're probably going to sag quite a bit. So that's where we're probably going to have to go up to that constant weight spring in the rear, heavy load. So we'll just go talk with Ironman and see kind of what they recommend also. We could always, if it's good as far as the weight, but we just need that little bit of lift, we could put like a trim pack spacer or something in the back, but I have a feeling we're going to need a heavier spring in the rear. So overall, one thing that I did notice with the suspension in the rear is it was a lot more smooth coming down off of obstacles. When we were stepping down off of ledges, stepping down off of rocks, and we got that initial kind of compression, there wasn't a very hard rebound back up, and we didn't get a lot of that pogo out of the rear that we normally felt with the last suspension setup. So that was a big difference, and it definitely felt, I don't know if this is a good way to put it, felt more stable when we were on obstacles and coming down off of different things. That could be a whole host of different things to now we have good bushings. Maybe the control arms are helping it better. You know, could be the Foam Cell Pros. It's hard to say. We really didn't get to do a lot of driving on the road just because, again, we kind of noticed the issue with the front diff howling. You know, that led to us having to make a call and kind of run our pre-run short. So let's go to the front and we'll check out and see what we got. Before we do, one thing that we have noticed that we're probably going to have to adjust in the future is our track bar in the rear, the track bar that keeps the axle centered. So ours has quite a bit of mileage on it. It's probably the initial track bar. So that probably is something that we'll have to replace in the future. So we're here at the front right now, obviously no front diff, right? So we're gonna take this time to kind of freshen up a little bit. We do have our old diff drop on here. So we're gonna redo that diff drop with the Ironman one that came, just keep the kit all the same. Our torsion bars right here. So typically the torsion bars, they put, you know, twist onto this lower control arm, and that gives us our lift up and down. So the torsion bar, they're under a lot of load, okay? So that's what kind of adjust the suspension up and down. And they're a little funky in the sense of getting them set, because it's not like a one size fits all. You have to get your correct adjustment at our torsion bar keys and everything back here, and you have to get everything lined up. You can actually see some of my orange marks to get everything lined up where I need it to be. And we want to adjust it so we don't have stuff hanging down that can get grabbed. And where it's not like a one size fits all is, they hold weight just like a spring and things like that, so you have to do more and more adjustment. But what you're doing is you're actually measuring the amount of down travel you have, and we want to stick with like a certain amount of down travel and still get enough lift out of it. We can give ourselves more lift, but we're going to lose down travel, which leads to issues on the road like torque steer or your suspension bottoming out because it's putting too much pressure on it when we're bouncing down the trail, and can lead to a really bouncy front end. So we'll probably have to adjust that a little bit again once we get done putting the diff and everything back in and get all the weight back together. And we are going to probably have to break down some of the different componentry on the front anyway to get the CV axles out. One thing that Ironman does, and we do have to drill right here, is they do put these reinforcement brackets on the lower control arms, which is good, right? Because you're putting a lot of torque on this lower control arm, and you can see them start to crack with some of the torsion bar designs. So that's important to kind of note, and a lot of manufacturers have kind of jumped on board with that. But as far as I know, Ironman was one of the first ones to kind of start doing that. And you can, a lot of times, even on your stock torsion bars, get lift out of it, but they're not going to hold weight the same, okay? So a lot of people will go, this is considered just like upgrading to a heavier spring. You're upgrading to a heavier torsion bar. So let's go around to the front and let's check out the shock and the upper control arms. All right, so we're back here at the front now, and again, we're going to have to kind of get all this stuff squared away again, but we do have our Ironman Foam Cell Pro shock here at the front and our Freedom upper control arms. So the upper control arms were a big one for us. The ones we took off, man, those upper ball joints were gone, and they've been gone for a while, and we have not had a good alignment on this truck for a long time. Obviously, again, it wasn't on the road, but you can even tell the little bit that we did that our tires were worn very badly on that outer edge. So having those Freedom upper control arms to kind of set up for the new suspension, get everything back in, and also having that upper ball joint replaced. The other big thing with that upper ball joint right there, having that back in there, is it is an OEM ball joint. We went with the Freedoms because I didn't want to have to worry about finding, if I'm in the day before training, I didn't want to have to worry about finding some aftermarket style ball joint to fit or worrying about getting it in. So the Freedoms were a good choice because I can just put an OEM ball joint in there. We have not replaced our lower control arms at this time. We did that later on, but that may be something that we run into in the future because a lot of times if the ball joints start going bad, we go ahead and just replace the entire lower control arm because it's time and the cost is about the same. One thing we've also done since then is we've got a new steering rack with new tie rod ends, and again, all that's going to have to be kind of put into place and squared away. We haven't even tightened down the jam nuts on those yet, and we're going to need alignment and all that kind of good stuff. So all that will start to get squared away as we put the new diff in. But all in all, one of the biggest things we felt with the new suspension is just the general control of the truck felt really good, which was a big thing for us because honestly, it was starting to get very worn out. The old suspension that we had on there, the shocks were done. When we took them off, they basically just collapsed down. They didn't have any real pressure left to them, a lot of abuse on them. Not that they aren't good, they just had a lot of abuse on them. But getting that freshen up really made the truck feel a lot more controlled, which was a big thing. So outside of that, we'll continue on with this snowball that we've got going on here of David. And once we get the front diff in and get the rear diff re-geared, hopefully we can get back on the road and seeing what we've got.